Imagine in less than 5 little clicks, you're going to be able to generate a radio script for a behind the music style feature, then write a social media post about that feature, and even generate an image or video to go along with that post. Oh my God, I should be charging for this, but I'm not.
We are on the air.
Okay, brew up a gallon of coffee. You're gonna need it. Hey, I'm Jeff, the radio DJ dude, and we are going deep, baby. This, I can't say is gonna be fun, but oh my goodness, what you're gonna end up with is really gonna be game-changing. Because come on, as kind of small-time internet radio operators, it's all about making our stations sound the best that they can. But once you add in social media content production duties, oh my goodness, forget about it. Who has the time for that? But, you know, the reality is, how else can you get the word out for free unless you are jamming cool content out on the social media interwebs? I know, I am first to admit that I'm a big old fail at that. I just really have never put the time in after launching my all 80s juggernaut, XXX80s.com. I don't know, maybe you're in the same boat. Do you despise creating social media content? But I mean, you can't have an online station without effective online promotion, because in a sea of noise, thousands of other online radio stations all competing for attention and earlobes. How else are you going to tell people about your special spot on the digital dial? Yeah. Just like taking your Flintstone vitamins daily. You've heard it all before. You still don't do it, but I'm going to make it a little easier, because not only are we going to generate a script for a radio bit, we're kicking out automated social media content too. Now, to pull all this off, you need a number of free resources. 1, Google Sheets. 2, a Make.com account. ElevenLabs if you're looking for AI voiceover generation. And Canva. Go get them. So this AI content creation odyssey all begins right here with a exciting spreadsheet, blank and ready for nourishment, ready for you to fill in artists and titles of songs that you want to create engaging content for. What stories behind the beats, behind the music do you want to tell? Well, of course, the bots don't know. So this is where you have to, put a little elbow grease in and start filling this out. A couple ways to attack this. Just go into your radio station database. Based on your software, for me, RadioDJ is, database driven. So I can go into the database and say, hey, spit out 50, 100 artists and titles from a specific genre and subcategory. And then I could go from there. However, if you know that you play, all the hits from a certain genre, well, you either head over to Google and do a search, top 100 songs from the 80s. This could be the 70s, the 60s, the 90s, whatever. Like there are 100 songs from the 90s. Anyway, different rant for a different time. And then here you go. You have nothing but options to click on. Rolling Stone is not just 100. They're delivering 200 hot hits from the 80s. But you click this link and you got a ton of ads popping up. You have a lot of nonsense on the sidebars. What do you do with all this? Well, that's where the magic of web scraping comes in. And I have a free Google Chrome extension called Instant Data Scraper. You see it up here? It's that little CD-ROM looking dealio. Well, you click this once you're on a web page, and hey, buckle up, because you're going to be amazed by the transformation. Instantaneously, it has scraped this site, and it's put together a CSV file from 200 to 151. You're like, well, hey, Rolling Stone promised 200. Well, not on one web page. You have to click load more, most likely, to see the rest of the list. But just for example, this is what we pretty instantaneously generated. The artist and the title, year of the release, a photo, which is pretty incredible later on when we get to the social media component of this nonsense, and Rolling Stones a little short blurb about the song. That could be very valuable too. And we can have AI kind of rewrite that in our tone and voice. So this is awesome. So all I would do is download this. I'd say Rolling Stone top 200. This is going to be 200 to 151. Okay. There we go. Boom. But just imagine the amount of time scraping saves over you. Watch this. If I, dominatrix, that's, I guess, the artist. So if I type in, dominatrix, and that doesn't even look good, I have to, and then if I go back to that sheet, the dominatrix sleeps tonight, I can't even see it. And then if I wanted the story, it's copying and pasting that. I mean, you get it. It's a pain in the ass. Load more, just as I suspected. So what it's doing is, loading a new page from 150 probably down to 100. So let's say you want this page. No problem. Let's click the data scraper again. Boom. Now we have from 150 down to 101. Okay? Now, here's something else I thought of, which might even be easier. Let's go to chat and let's say, search the web for the top 100 songs from the 1980s. I dig it. Wow. This has just saved a ton of time. Okay, let's download the file from chat and upload it to our Google Drive account. Let's see what they've come up with. Top 100 songs. Wow. This is awesome. This just saved a ton of time. Back to our format of our sheet that we're going to eventually end up working with. So we want to create a couple other columns. We have title, artist, script, social, and hashtags. Why do we want to, do such nonsense? Well, here is kind of the overview. Let's pop over to make.com, our favorite no-code automation site. We're having, Make look at that sheet, top 100 1980 songs, with artist, title, script, social, and hashtags columns, okay? And then what we're doing, we're breaking that down, and we're sending each kind of row of information back to ChatGPT and asking it to do 3 different things. So I have a similar sheet prepared for you here that's more relevant to what I'm doing, but it's the same parameters. So here's what we're doing. We're going to ChatGPT, and we're using one of my custom prompts for a segment called Behind the Lyrics, but who gives a damn? You could change this to whatever you want, which I'm going to do Behind the Beats or something similar, okay? Then we're telling the bots, hey, you guys are charismatic radio hosts and you're very insightful storytellers and you're great at creating these behind the lyric segments that tell fascinating stories about, particular songs that we give you, okay? And then we give them some specific instructions. You can't just make this stuff up because we know you love to hallucinate and create your own version of reality. Well, not on our air. So you first have to fact check everything based on these parameters, and then you structure the information with an opening hook, give it some context, tell us the real story, and maybe have, a way to turn it back around and show how this ties into today. Style guidelines. Yes, there are guidelines. Example output. This is key when you're prompting the bots. They don't know your style. They don't know your voice. So you need to give them examples of, your style. So either write one of these scripts that really aligns with your station's voice or your personality and include that. I have 2. Then we have some more notes. Here's what I added. I said, don't start with song lyrics and emojis, because what I found when I was running this just through ChatGPT, it would start out with a fun music note emoji and then, copy in a lyric or 2 from the song. But if we eventually send this over to ElevenLabs or some other AI voice generation site, we don't want that nonsense in the script. So we're saying, no. But it is okay to mention the song's name at the beginning of the script. Also, don't quote your sources in the output. And I think that's my fault because up here, as you see here, I have sources. So let's actually delete this from the prompt, sources, because it does a good job following instructions. And that was on me. This is really important. Avoid AI writing cliches. I can't tell you how many times in these scripts somewhere, man, here's a twist. And they always jam that in there. Now, I don't mind an occasional, but here's a twist. Not all the time. So come up with similar transition phrases. Okay, very nice. And what we're saying is, how does it know which song an artist to even pull from? Well, you see these green boxes, and then when I hover over them, the search sheet module on the left starts pulsating. Well, this is basically where you drop that in. The song is going to be title by artist. Simple. And click OK. Oh, one other thing. If you're not thrilled with your output, you click Show Advanced Settings in ChatGPT, and there's something called temperature. And this is really kind of your creativity, knob, where in ChatGPT, the values are 0 to 1. So 1 is the most creative. And of course, 0.1 is the least. So if we start with 0.8, let's take a look at some of the output and see if we need to up the creativity factor. Now, one caveat, sometimes the higher the temperature, meaning the more creative reign you give the bots, they start to hallucinate and make up their own facts. So keep that in mind. But it is something to experiment with because a lot of times my results with a higher temperature, are much better than the more, middle of the road, playing it safe kind of results. Okay, let's always make sure to save your scenarios. And honestly, let's go over to the sheet. One thing I do want to add is a status column, which down the road, when we start publishing content, this is going to be an important column. So let's make this a drop-down menu. Option 1 will be review, and we can change that to yellow. Option 2 will be approved. Make this a nice green. Okay. Review and approved. Got it? Good. Back over on our make.com scenario. Let's say we want, this would be F. Let's double check. F is status. So we just want to set this to review. Okay? So that is the radio script. So next in our exciting chain is the social media post. So let's check this prompteroo out. I'm sending a message to the system. That's like the boss, the robo boss, saying, hey, you are an expert social media content creator who's experienced at writing viral posts that grab attention. Then I'm switching to the user. That's me just talking to the system saying, hey, using this summary, and for the summary, I am pulling in the script, which is column C that the previous module will have written. Write an engaging, fun, and upbeat post, blah, blah, blah. I talk about emojis. Make sure to mention the title and artist in the post. Once again, this information is coming from our sheet. Great. Then I have another message as the user. End every post with listen to, once again, the artist, and all your 80s faves on my station, xxx80s.com. No line break between posts and this tag, no hashtags. No hashtags. But didn't we create a column for hashtags? Well, yes. What we want this particular module to do is to prepare a social media post for use on both Facebook and Instagram. However, Facebook, really, there isn't any point using hashtags on Facebook. So we're creating another ChatGPT module. And once again, I'm talking to the system. They're still this great social media creator. And I'm having them review Social D, which is a social post ChatGPT would have just written. And I'm asking it to create 5 hashtags for Instagram based on that content. So include the band or artist name, and I'm instructing it to always include 80s music and 80s as hashtags, because sometimes it wouldn't. Okay, perfect. Here's an example output. This is very nice. Save it. And ultimately, here's what we're doing. After each one of these modules run, it's going to go back to the spreadsheet that we first started with. It's pulling the sheet name from that module that's pulsating there on the left. Row number is important because we want to make sure it's updating, the Madonna row. It's updating the row it's been working on this entire scenario run. Then we get down to these rows. Values A, which is column A. We're not doing anything with title or artist, but column C, which is this script, that's our radio script. Well, that comes from this ChatGPT radio script module, and you see in this box 11, that's an easy way to figure out which module to pull from when you're loading this up. So C, I want the result from this module 11, ChatGPT radio script. Then for D, which is our social post, well, ChatGPT social post, we're pulling the result. And E, which hashtags, there we go, ChatGPT hashtags, result. Pop that in. Then F, like I mentioned, this is the status column. And we're saying to mark that as review. Boom, save it. This is what we're looking like now. A blank slate. So if this goes to plan, it will start with Everywhere from Fleetwood Mac. However, that's not very exciting because I've done that one before. Let's start off with Take On Me from a-ha, just because that backstory is a little more interesting and I want to make sure this, scenario gets that right. Okay? Buckle up. We're off and running. Okay. It's sending a-ha Take On Me to the radio script writer. It's written it. Now, oh my God, it's already done. I don't have time to explain what it's doing. It's done. So let's go check this out. Take On Me by a-ha is an iconic synth-pop anthem that makes you want to dance. But did you know its creation was as dramatic as a soap opera? The band wrote it in 1982, where they struggled against Jackson. Now here's the kicker. So this is a great example. It doesn't always respect, the rules. But the number one rule to adopt with any AI-generated content, it's up to you to proofread, to edit, to rework some of these scripts into scripts that fit your brand, your voice, your personality. So the bots can only, come so far. The music video, which features that groundbreaking pencil sketch animation, was inspired by comic books. Okay. Social post. So who's ready to take on the week like it's a retro synth pop dream? Don't forget that iconic hair. You know what? I don't like it. Hashtags, a-ha, synth pop, that's fine. And this should be choosing. This is an issue. Okay. So you notice it just had the word review. That's because when we created that drop down, I need it to extend to all rows. Okay, now that's in place. So what we're going to do, we're going to rerun a-ha because I was not that excited. And here's a tip for you because I get this question a lot. Well, when we run these scenarios, how do we know where make.com is going to start from? Well, if you right click on your search sheets module, you could choose where to start. Choose manually. And this will show you all your rows. And I'm going to come back to a-ha. And a-ha. I want to now kick this temperature up to 1. Remember I told you before, that's our creative slider. All I want to see is how creative can this get? And let's see where we're at with the social media post temperature. Turn that on. So that already is pretty creative. Okay, good. Save it. Let's rerun it. Take on me, a catchy invitation to romance, right? Well, story behind Take on Me is anything but straightforward. Not thrilled with any of that output. So we come back to the prompt. So you should mention the song name at the beginning of the script. Don't output song name and then script. It should be part of the narrative. I want to knock this down to 25 seconds to see what happens. Honestly, I'm going to get rid of this. I think sometimes you can give it too much information. Let's do that. I'm going to bring this temperature down to 0.9. Save that. And let's delete it. Delete it. Status. Okay, run it. Taking Me sounds like a classic 80s love song, right? But what most people don't realize is that it began life as a rough demo in 82, originally titled Lesson 1. That's interesting. I didn't even know that. Aha's lead singer was struggling with the songs when they combined synth-pop elements with an unpredictable music video that featured unique comic book style. Today, it's not just a nostalgic throwback. It symbolizes the creative risk-taking that defined an entire era of music, inviting us all to embrace our dreams and take on whatever comes our way. Good enough. Much better than the other two, outputs. For the social post, if you're not vibing to Take on Me by Aha while pretending you have rhythm, are you even living? Seriously, who knew a synth line could create so much nostalgia? Grab your hair gel and neon leg warmers. It's time to go full 80s mode. Listen to Aha and all your faves on XXX80s.com. Okay, hashtags, Aha, synthpop, perfect. And status review. Now I realize I threw you in the deep end and nothing but your Speedos. So before we go any further, I want to start back at the top and just lay this out and break this down for those of you who are new to the Make.com system. First off, if you don't already have an account with Make.com, well, get one. It's free. So once you get your Make.com up and running, you're going to create a new scenario, because that's what they call these nutty things, and you'll be greeted by a big honking purple button. Now, over here, you're going to see a list of all the apps that Make.com interfaces with, and there's a ton of them. Your apps probably won't be in the order of mine, so just start typing Google Sheets. There you go. And we're going to watch new rows. Now, if this is your first time, you're going to have to clear those connection hurdles. You click Add, and you sign in with Google, but you have to be really mindful. Make sure you're signing into the Google account that you use to create this Google Sheet. It needs to be the same account. And once you do, you see this is my Google account, which ties into that spreadsheet. Now we're connected. Next up, tell Make which spreadsheet we're working with. To do that, search method, just say select from all, head back over to your spreadsheet, and copy the spreadsheet ID. That's this big, bad, honking long string between D/ and /edit. You see that nasty string? Copy it, paste it in, and now it's hooking you up. Sheet name, well, it says sheet 1. Let's verify. Down here, sheet 1, boom, boom, boom. We are rocking and rolling. Yes, the table does contain headers. Headers are these little descriptors across row 1. Row with headers is A1 to Z1. And we're going to limit our output to 1 at this stage. This is looking good. This is fine for now. That is how we get your scenario started. For the rest of this, we're going to pop back over to our ready to roll social media writing scenario. Because we already generated an output for Aha, Take on Me, it's really important to set up a new filter here between the Google Sheets and the rest of the modules. Because when you're running this, you don't want it to overwrite songs that already have scripts and social media content generated. So we set up a filter. Just going to call this filter. The condition is, see, this is pulling up all your columns in your spreadsheet. Condition needs to be script. That's our radio script that ChatGPT just created. Text operators does not exist. So this is saying in the script column, if there isn't a script in it, then write one. One more connection point for ChatGPT, or if you want to use Claude, which in some cases actually produces better, more creative written content. That's actually a good tip at this point. If you want to test out that prompt, go into ChatGPT and, slam this prompt. You are a charismatic radio host, blah, blah, blah. Give it a song, Take On Me. And then open a similar window in Claude, same prompt, same song, and compare outputs. And then you just need to decide what floats your dinghy. And honestly, something else, I know I talked about temperature, but the model, the language model you choose greatly affects the output quality. I'm using GPT-4o Mini system because it's a cheaper model. Keep in mind, every time you run ChatGPT, it's not free. It costs you tokens. I'm going to get into that in 1 second. But just for this, I'm going to pop this up to GPT-4o system. I think we're going to see a boost in our output. Let's just check our social prompts. This is mini. I want to go to system. Slightly better. Hashtags, you could actually drop down, save yourself some money. Because hashtags, it's not that important to have a really, modern language model because you're not asking it to do much. So, even GPT-4 Turbo is good enough. I'm not going to leave you hanging with how to connect either OpenAI or Claude. It all starts, once again, with adding your API key. What? Where the heck do you find that? Well, I'll show you. You want to head over to platform.openai.com, log into your account, create one if you don't have one, and then this is, your dashboard. Come over to API keys, create new key, and you don't have to give it a name, but if you just want to say, radio, here's your key, save it, copy it, head back over to make.com, paste it in here, and then you're good to go. You're connected. But keep this in mind, you must have credit in your OpenAI account to use this. Now, if you're not a member, I'm on the $20 a month plan, but it's okay. You don't have to jump into a monthly plan. Come over here to billing, and you could just add $5, pay as you go, add to credit balance. And believe me, $5 goes a long way when you're generating just simple prompts like this. So if you're curious, let's grab this prompt, come over to Claude, paste it in, and then say, song is Take On Me by Aha. Okay. Let's see what Claude spits out. Great. Ever wonder how a failed Norwegian band turned a keyboard riff and groundbreaking animation into one of the 80s biggest hits? Oh, that is a great hook. I dig that. When Aha first released Take On Me in 1984, completely flopped, but here's a twist. Oh, here's the twist. Every bot writer in the clouds, they get off on that. Warner Brothers believed in the song so much, they took an unprecedented step, investing $100,000 to create that revolutionary pencil sketch animation video. And I was just curious, is this actually true? And there's our sources. This is wonderful. Do your test. See which output you like better, make that decision, and then over here, if it's Claude, you look for an Anthropic Claude module, and you'd want to create a prompt. Create a connection, connect your account, and then it's similar to ChatGPT. But it's well known for creative writing. A lot of people prefer Claude over ChatGPT. So I am curious how Claude would handle the rewriting of this. Great. Okay, let's paste our prompt in. Using that story, write an engaging, fun, blah, blah, blah. Make sure to mention the title and artist. I think it knows in the post. No system intro, just output the post. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. Did You Know Take On Me by AHA actually flopped when it first came out? The only reason we got that mind-bending animation video was because Warner Brothers went all in, dropping $100K on it, pretty wild for 84, fun fact, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is great. Unfortunately, I'm having buyer's remorse. I actually like that so much better than this dinky, anemic post from ChatGPT. So I'll copy it to this alt post column and maybe even rethink using Claude in our sequence. Let's run it again, see what we get. So it did Journey, Don't Stop Believing. Don't Stop Believing, an anthem for dreamers, right? But you know, it was practically a last-ditch effort for Journey. That's really cool. In 1981, as they were on the verge of breaking up, lead singer Steve Perry wrote this iconic song to capture the hopes of people searching for purpose. Wow, I dig that. Social post. Ever wonder why Don't Stop Believin' is the ultimate karaoke anthem? It's a song that proves even a small-town girl and a city boy can unite the masses at 2 a.m. Fun fact, it was released in 81 and still owns the charts like a boss. Ready to belt it out? Good enough. Hashtags Journey, rock music, classic rock, 80s music, 80s. Good. In review. So far, this is just proving the concept. With enough tweaking, this definitely works. And after you've fine-tuned the prompts to your liking and you're getting a consistent output, that's when you could kick things up over in the search sheet module. And instead of just doing one at a time, do 5, do 10 at a time. But early on, I like to do it in small batches, so I'm not wasting operations. I said a keyword, operations. You heard it, right? Something I've always tried to be mindful of on this channel is coming up with solutions for people who don't, have endless pockets, beefy wallets. So you could pull a lot of this off with the free plan of Make.com. But you have to keep in mind, you only get so much for free. You get 1,000 operations for free. As you can see, I did boost up to the $10.59 a month plan, but if I would have purchased that yearly, it's only $9 a month for 10,000 operations. What's an operation? Well, I really didn't, have a clear handle on this until recently, and it all adds up. So let's break down our scenario. Every song title you create a story for has to go through this workflow. It searches the sheet. It writes the radio script, the social post, the hashtags, and updates the sheet. Count them up with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 operations at play for each song that you write a script for. What does that mean? Well, you do 20, boom, 100 operations. You do 50, boom, 250 operations. You do 100 song titles, right? That's 500 operations just for the script writing. Hey, we're not done yet, Paco. No, we have more to do. We still want to create a cool social media picture. How are we doing it? Well, if you're doing it this way, you're running, when we'll get into this later, this tool, then we're going to Canva, Google Drive, Google Sheets. So another 5. So once again, 100, that's 500 operations. So for script writing and image generation, now you're 1,000. You're done, you're cooked, you have to wait until, next month. So be mindful of that. Early on, don't bang out 1,000 or 100. No. Start small. First, see if you even like this bit. Do 25, do 30 to begin with. And if this really is a banger and it hits and you dig it on air, then you roll out more. Or please, I think Make.com for what you're getting, it's an incredibly valuable service. And if you need more operations, just for even 1 month, drop $10.59, get a core plan, and then cancel it the next month. Just do what you need to do to get this stuff done. And like I said, that's only part of the process. We've created the images, but eventually we need to post these images. And I'm just showing you this, speaking about the operations. And that will take 3 more operations. So if you're doing 100, that's another 300 operations. So now that you have your radio scripts written, like I said, go through them, edit them, tweak them, make sure they sound just like you. Now what? Well, either talk into this end of the microphone and read these scripts either live during your show or voice track them or record them as a VO file that runs as a standalone segment. You can have a behind the beats segment with a cool intro, and then you come on, and then the song plays. That's one way to pull this off. Let me jump full screen here for a second. I'm talking about creating scripts for you to read, maybe live or, record voiceover files. Well, if you still feel 100% confident to rock that mic in the big bad way that you know you can, well, this is just a reminder. I've got that free Radio DJ 101 mini course that I'd love to work with you. I mean, I'm ready to jump into your inbox like 5, 6, 7 times in a row if you can stand that, and I'll lay out everything I have. And I'd love to share some tips and tricks with you to up your confidence and help you start rocking that mic with style. Just follow that link in the description and we'll get you signed up for that Radio DJ 101 mini course right now. Of course, the other way, which you've seen me wax on about, is to kick that script over to ElevenLabs to have a very human-sounding AI voice read that script for you. This is an example of what that would look like. You're looking in that Google Sheet, watching for new rows that have been approved, okay? That's why we added the status column. Once we click approve, this scenario will send that script to ElevenLabs, script, after you've chosen the voice and then entered the settings, which sound best for that voice. ElevenLabs records that script, then it updates the Google Sheet saying, hey, I recorded it. It then uploads that voice file to Dropbox, or it could FTP it to a folder at your radio station. Oh, the world is your deep-fried Twinkie. So now you have some text and cool emojis, but does that really make for an engaging social media post? Of course not. You need something to grab people's attention, stop their zombie scroll. Of course, that is imagery. That's either a still image, some cool graphic design, or even better, a video. And to create some visual pop, we pop over to Canva. Check this out, baby. So if you're new to Canva, well, hello. It's only one of the most popular sites for design online. And there's a ton of templates. So if you're not a designer, which I'm not, well, check this out. You could choose a ton of fun stuff that you then could customize to your needs. And yes, Canva does have a free plan. And while you could get pretty close with what we need to do with the free plan, the real magic of this upcoming workflow requires a pro plan. But hang with me, I have a workaround. Let's first stick to design. And this is not going to be a design video. You need to come up with a layout that works for you and your station. So this is basically made up of text, a background color. You can do a background image, the cassette, and my XXX80s.com logo. Right here, zoom in, baby, on these two text boxes, song title and artist. Now, I know the point of this video is automation. So, radio dudes and dudettes, fret not. I'm not going to ask you to create 100 different images of typing in, take on me, aha. Good God, no. I wouldn't do that to you. An incredible feature of Canva is something called Bulk Create. If you don't see it here on the left, click Quick Actions and type Bulk Create. There you go. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to dynamically, automatically change, the song title and the artist based on that spreadsheet we're using. Wow, right? Okay, here's my spreadsheet. Let's open it up. Title, artist. But we first have to tell the bulk wizards which words we want swapped out. So click song title, click the 3 dots, connect data, because that's what we're doing. We're connecting that to title. I'll give you 32 guesses of what we're going to connect artist to. Oh, I'm sorry, not script. It's artist. That's the right answer. Okay, now that we have connected these 2 data points, we hit continue. This says, hey, do you want to do all 25? Well, for this demo, let's just do a couple. Let's do 4. generate 4 designs, but it's just as easy to do 25 or 100. Click it, baby, and click your stopwatch. Whoa! You couldn't even get to your stopwatch. It is done. Design fail there, but that's easy to fix. If you have song titles that are too long, you do have to go in and manually adjust, but it's not that big of a deal. You grab the text box, you make it a little bigger. Let's decrease the font size, line that up, and then if you want to reduce her name, that's fine. But why stop with just boring, static images when we could take beyond the beats, beyond the outer realms of coolness by doing a video? This is my video template. Behind the beats, title artist. So I have an animated station logo. I have this turntable video playing and all the text animates on. Why? To grab those eyeballs as they're scrolling social media. So anytime you can have some motion, some video, that is a big plus. And when I found out that you could use Bulk Create for videos, oh my God, that was a game changer. And it's the same principle. See Bulk Create, title artist. Let's first click Bulk Create. I want to upload that CSV file. Boom. Then you just connect like we did before. Connect the data, title, artiste, connect the data, boom. And then you just continue. I've already done this, so you see, there's Fleetwood Mac, there's Take On Me, I want to dance with somebody. Great, loving that. Let's say you don't like that turntable background. Well, you've got the power and the prerogative to choose whatever background your heart's desires. And come up here, click free. I want to give you the full experience, what it would be like having a free account. And then pick a background down here that makes you wiggle and makes you giggle. They've got a lot to choose from. Let's say you like this VU meter. Well, boom, put that in there. Just scale it up a touch. And now you've just created another style, another variation for this social media element. So variety keeps it fresh, and I encourage you, create 2 or 3 different styles, and then this text dynamically changes when you run the Bulk Create functionality. But for 1 minute, let me be the bearer. Oh, sad news. Like I said, Bulk Create, this is only available for pro plans, but fret not. Canva is kind enough to let you sign up for free for a pro plan for 30 days. So sign up, get all your work done, and then you can cancel your account 29 days later. Or if you dig it, keep it. Keep going. Why stop? It has never been easier to create compelling content. I mean, here's another one I did with, flying headphones. So that's kind of cool. But why not just use a picture of a-ha or Whitney Houston or their album cover? Hey, I hear you. I would love to just slam a shot of Whitney into the post and be done with it. It would make our lives so much easier. Well, up to a point. Only easier until you get that cease and desist letter from Getty Images, which, in my opinion, they're the biggest bastards on the planet when it comes to just this tyrannical grip on, image rights, and they shake you down. They'll send you threatening emails, they'll demand money. So, just avoid all that. And it's happened to me. I've had to fight some of these charges. So I just want to prevent you that headache and hassle. Avoid these goons. The Getty goons need to be avoided at all costs. And you do that by creating your own custom content. This isn't to say that you are categorically not allowed to use images of, popular musical artists or even album covers. It's all kind of murky, but everything needs to be run through the fair use doctrine, especially if you're in the US. There are laws referred to as fair use, and it's not really a law, it's more of a test that you can use if the big bad Getty bastards come after you. And there are 4 qualifications that you must meet when using a piece of, copywritten content. And if you can meet all those 4, then you're most likely, not 100%, but you're more likely to be in the clear of using something for free and not needing to seek out written authorization or pay a licensing fee, which of course we all want to avoid that. If you're using these images kind of in the way that we're talking about with this behind the music, because you're offering commentary, you're offering kind of like educational content about an artist and a song. So in a way, tier 1 of those 4 qualifications is met. You're not using it gratuitously. You're not saying, hey, I have an all-ladies station, look at these cool artists. No, that does not pass fair use, because now you're using it in a marketing capacity, and that never flies. But it's up to you to really do your homework, do your due diligence on fair use, and with the right manipulation, with the right kind of reworking of some of these iconic images, in some cases it will fly, and you can get away with using some of these photos, which is awesome. So after you've created these custom video files and you've done, and you've made any tweaks to the layout, remember this name and come back to make.com. And this is the workflow that you're going to build. It all starts with a tool, which is increment function, which we used for the still photos. You'll load up a Canva module exporter design. Of course, you connect your account. A folder ID for me is in the root folder, and then design ID, this is key. Remember when I told you to remember the name of your file? That video file was bulk 1 behind the Beats vertical version 2 bulk. That's the ID that we want to create individual MP4 video files out of. So we select MP4, the quality, this is key, it is a vertical 1080p video. And for pages, we're letting that increment function tool choose which quote unquote page or which video to run through the process. The first time you run this scenario, it will be starting with page or video number 1, which is what you want. Why this increment function tool is so important? Because you really don't have any other way to individually download these files. Even if you're in Canva, if you click share, it's going to force you to download a zip file with all 3 files. That doesn't work for us. We need 3 individual MP4 files. So this increment function kind of goes one at a time. It iterates from video to video, or in our still image design, photo to photo. And that's why putting this tool under pages, it's telling Canva to export one at a time. So that's really important. Then you slam in a Google Drive upload a file module. Of course, you connect your Google Drive account. You're entering a folder ID, select from the list. It's My Drive. And then you just click here until the folder that you want to use. Like for example, so I created this folder social media test and another folder IMG for the Canva designs. So here you see IMG. And for file, I'm exporting a design from Canva. All that looks good. Once I upload it, I need to get a share link to put into my spreadsheet. So I add a Google Drive get a share link module. Once again, make sure account's connected. My Drive, I'm selecting a file. And for file ID, I'm grabbing the file ID from the upload a file, which is right here. You see that file ID? So you just click that. The role, this is very important to get this right. The role should be reader. Type should be anyone, okay? Make sure you get that right. And then we slam in a Google Sheets update a row module, okay? This is where you're parking the file link you just uploaded from Canva to Google Drive. So once again, your spreadsheet ID, we talked about that. That's this long string of goggly gook. You're copying that. You're pasting it in the spreadsheet ID. You're choosing the right sheet name. This is key row number. You have to tell make.com which row to drop the video or image link into. And it has to match up with the actual song that the content has been created for. You can't have Whitney Houston showing up under new order. And look at our spreadsheet. Row number 1 is the header row, title, artist, and all that nonsense. Our songs don't start until row 2, but the iterator doesn't know that. Over here, 1 is 1. So we programmatically have to instruct make.com to start with whatever number the increment function spits out. If it's 1, great, or if it's 6, fine, but add 1. So that keeps us on track. That bypasses the header row. So in that case, Fleetwood Mac is 1, Take On Me becomes 2, and so on. But don't think you can just click plus on your keyboard and then 1. That won't get you anywhere. Come up here, you see X1. You have to use the plus icon. Then you can do the number 1. Now you're on track. Table contains headers. You bet it does. Now the values. Okay, this is key. See, we want to go to H, which I added another column. I have images. That's for our stills. And I have a video column, which is great for our video content. So I know the title of that last module is get a share link, but no, a share link will not work when you start uploading content to Instagram and Facebook. It requires a web content link. So you click that and it'll park the proper URL in that column. Okay, now with that said, we save it and this is looking sweet. Okay, here we go. Exporting a 10-second video, and eventually we'll upload it over on Google Drive and we'll see where we're at. It does take a while because you are exporting a video. Okay, well, I think we're done. And we did start from the top, so yes, this is a video file. Okay, too big to play back, so we'll download the file and see what it looks like. A video, and here we go. Wow, look at that. That is super cool. Now that we know that the bots could rock the video workflow, now let's tackle these still images, okay? We got them lined up. Once again, want to make sure we remember this Canva file name. When we pop back over to make.com, let's tweak our workflow. Specifically, the Canva module, we have to change this to match that project name, which, do you remember what it was? Bulk 1, cassette, bulk 2. Very straightforward. No, not confusing at all. Okay, it is an image file. We want a high quality image file, so we're going to choose PNG. No. And we're going to do export as single image. Heck no, because we want all the images, as their own standalone files. It's a square image, so we want to, input 1080 by 1080. Once again, we're using the increment function, so this stays in place, and that looks nice. Make sure our Google Drive settings are still rocking. Yep, it's going to that folder. The only thing we want to change over in our update a row in the Google Sheets module, we just want to make sure that the URL is going to the image column in our spreadsheet. Remember we have a video column and now an image column? So that is G. So we want to plug the web content link into G. Okay? I think we're ready to go. And then the only thing that I'm not digging about this increment function tool, it's almost impossible to start a workflow other than, image number 1. So let's say you wanted to start on image number 3, you can't do it. It's just the clunky nature of that tool to actually get this done. So without that tool, we wouldn't be able to grab, individual files of these photos and videos. So just have to live with that. But what does that mean? If you ever have an issue, you need to start back at 1. So the way to do that is to click the wrench, unlink that tool, and just add a brand new, increment function. Drag this over so it's connected and move the clock. Then you can delete the old. Oh boy, okay. Well, you need to know this. It is a pain. Once you delete this, now you need to go back through all the modules and connect this new increment function. So you're just replacing, the values for the old increment function to the new. It's not tough. It's just, a slight time suck. Okay, this one's the most important. And we're scrolling down. We're plugging that in. Okay, all those have been updated. Let's save that. Let's just run one. Let's see what happens. Well, that's what happens. Sometimes when you have issues, you just reload the page. That either solves them or it doesn't. We'll find out right now. Okay, it did solve it. So this is looking good. It should be exporting our first image, which should be the Fleetwood Mac everywhere. Let's test that theory. Here it is. Everywhere Fleetwood Mac. And there it is. Okay. Love it. So that is a solid workflow. So back to our spreadsheet. Eventually, you're going to run through, all 25, 50, 100 songs in your list here, and you're going to be creating images and videos. And this thing is just going to be, bursting at the seams with content. Now, how does that help you in the long run? Well, when we get to the next phase, which is actually posting all this social goodness, well, I'm going to show you a way to set it and forget it. We could put all this on a schedule. As long as these links have been created, the social posts have been written, you could schedule this to post, every morning at 9 a.m. It will then just go down your list and post one a day. And that's when all this hard work will pay off. You create enough of these, that's 2 months where you just sit back and you don't really have to worry about this social media campaign. Now let's jump into our final workflow. This is where we blast out all of our creations to the world. Look at this snappy scenario. Oh yeah, I'm already digging this. And hopefully in a couple of minutes, you will be too. This scenario kicks off with a super snappy search rows module from Google Sheets. And by now, you know the drill. You're copying and pasting your spreadsheet ID into this window right here. And this looks a little different from some of our previous Google Sheets modules because it has this rockstar filter section. And this really is going to make your life so much easier. And this is kind of like the traffic cop in this scenario. I'm using 2 values to make sure the trains run on schedule and we're not duplicating, content. First filter is status. This is our status column F, okay? This is, remember the buttons we created, review and approved? This will only process a song social media post if the status is approved, okay? Equal to, case insensitive, approved, and, this is very important too, the uploaded value does not exist. So in column I, you'll see I added, and I didn't tell you, sorry. So you need to add an uploaded column, okay? The best way to do this is to populate an actual upload date, which we'll do in a second. But for now, I just have an X. But what this is saying is if there isn't anything in a cell in the uploaded column, then thumbs up, move on. Next up in our workflow is a router. And all this router is doing, you can find it under flow control, okay? There's router. You just add that, add a module, and then you're putting in flow control router, right? Good. The router is receiving the data from Google Sheets, and then it's looking for a key value to determine if it wants to send the data to the left or the right. And that value is, what type of media is it? Is it a picture or is it a video? Because as you know, we have both. If it's a picture, this filter says condition image exists. So for Fleetwood Mac, you see an image does exist. However, for Take On Me, aha, there's just a video. So Fleetwood Mac would take the upper road and it would first go to Facebook pages. So let's show you how to do this. Basically, you add a module, Facebook, and you're going to create a post with photos, right? Well, I already have this module over here. Let me show you what my settings are. Once you connect, and you have to connect to Facebook, more hoops you jump through, and then you select the page, your specific page, your radio station page. And here is where some of the fun happens. For photos, item number 1, you're going to download a photo from a URL. And that URL is in this spreadsheet, the Google Sheets Search Rows module, and it's right down here, IMG. So if this were empty, I'd click IMG, and that slots in this URL of our photo from Canva. Down here, what's the message? Well, that's going to be your text. That's coming from the social post in your spreadsheet. That is it. Hit OK, you're good to go. And look at this. We're not just going to stop with Facebook. This train is going to keep on chugging to Instagram. For the Instagram module, you have to load up Instagram for Business, okay? You're creating another photo post like we did for Facebook, connecting your account, choosing your page, photo URL. Well, we already went through that. That's the IMG URL. Now the caption, this is where it kind of gets cool. Now we finally get to throw those hashtags into the mix. So caption is your social post along, okay, I'm clicking a space, and then I'm clicking hashtags. So that will merge them all together. And now what I'm doing, remember how we talked about the updated row? I'm throwing in an update a row, a Google Sheets module. And for the spreadsheet ID, this time instead of copying and pasting the URL, I'm just clicking the spreadsheet ID from, just to show you where this is pulling from, this first Search Rows module. So you click that, and if you hover over that, you see Google Sheets pulsating. That's spreadsheet ID. The sheet name, I'm taking that right here from the sheet. The row number, this is super important, comes from row number right there. And then I'm coming all the way down to I, which is our uploaded column. And I'm just saying, put the date in. This is now, okay? Current date and time. That's just a good way to track when this content is uploaded. Those are pics. Now for videos, here's our filter. We're saying if this condition, known as video H, that's H column, if there's anything in a cell in this video column, which basically means exists, then send it on down to this path. And you're uploading a video. So go back to Facebook, Pages, you scroll down, upload a video. That's the module you want. And this is what that module looks like. Your account is connected. Here's your radio station page. You're downloading a video from a URL. And it's the same dealio with the picture. Here's our video URL and H. Our description is the social post, which is D. And that's it. And just like with the pictures, same thing. I mean, you can actually just, let's say, you already did this for the photos. You right-click on the Google Sheets module, and you clone it. You bring it down here, and boom. That saves you a little time. There's our date value. And this, after we save it, is good to go. So this is it, the moment of truth where you decide whether or not sinking 60 plus minutes into this video is actually worth it. I'm going to hit run on our social media posting scenario, and let's see if it does anything. Currently, this is my pretty anemic and lame XXX80's Facebook page. I mean, there's nothing on it because, like I said, I don't like this part of the job. But hopefully, coming up with systems like this will make it easier to come up with, a more regular posting schedule. Because, come on, we all know it is the best and the cheapest way to spread the word about your radio station. Okay, that rant is over. Maybe I'm just stalling because I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let's put our eyeballs on our sheet one more time. Okay, so we have a video for AHA. We have an image for Whitney Houston. You know what we don't have for Whitney Houston? An approval. So we have to approve any posts that we want to post. These two have been approved, and if all goes to plan, they should be posted. Okay. Well, let's give this a whirl. Boom. It is running. Hey, it identified a video. It looks like it is sending it to Facebook right now. Whoo, this is looking promising. Not popping the cork just yet, but give it a second because this is a video file, and as you know, they do take longer to upload. Okay, I'm going to delay the excitement just a little longer, and I want to see, about this. It did follow through. I now have an uploaded date and time. Of course, in Make.com, you could customize the way this, date and time string is formatted. And if you look up here on Facebook, it says my video is ready to view. Woohoo! I actually have a video on Facebook. It's a big day. What? I don't see it. Let's reload it. Okay. Hey, look at that. Behind the beats, Take On Me. If you're not vibing to Take On Me, this is great. And I have a link to the website. Let's see if that works. You betcha it does. I'm digging it. Okay, so this is awesome. We know the video works. But what about that sneaky little photo? Let's kick that thing into gear and see if we can't get that posted, not just on Facebook, but also over on Instagram. Now, this is another embarrassing admission. I don't have an IG page for XXX80s.com. So I'm posting this to another rando account that I do have. Let's just look at the spreadsheet one more time. Whitney Houston's been approved. Okay, we're locked and loaded. Let's run this again. Okay, it checked the sheet and it identified the Whitney post with the photo. So there it goes. It's on Facebook. And it is now, with the tension, the drama, on Instagram. Boring stuff first. Let's see if we have our date stamp. Yeah, our time and date stamp has been logged for Whitney Houston. More important, back to Facebook. Give it a little gentle refresh. And we scroll down. Oh, Behind the Beats, my favorite new segment on XXX80s. There's a beautiful image. There's our link. Let's go to Instagram. Boom. There it is. Let's see for more. Ever find yourself, this looks good. And here's our hashtags with the space in between them. This is great. Hey, we love it when it works. And I hope this odyssey has been worth it and has given you some great ideas to pick up this digital ball and run with it. Because come on, I'm not going to say it again, or maybe I will. You need to be doing this. You need to be spreading the good word about your great radio station. And come on, this is only going to set you back a little setup time. Once you build this rock solid foundation, this just runs on autopilot. And you're feeding that social beast with the content it needs, and you're turning maybe new people onto your station and building your listener base, which is key. So I've yammered on about, setting it and forgetting it. This is how you do it. Over here at the bottom of your scenario, you have options of when you want to run this scenario. Of course, you can do it manually like we have been, or you could click this schedule setting. It's either regular intervals, which I don't recommend. I think if you're creating content for like once a day posting, just do it every day. And then the run schedule sets your time. What do you want it to be? 10 a.m.? Boom. Now it's set. This will run every day at 10 a.m. and it'll look for photos or videos. But this is where you need to be mindful, because you don't really want to blow through all of your content and do a photo and a video. So you should stagger them, I think. Okay, fire off the confetti cannon. Woohoo! I finally cracked the code on this. This set me back a while. But using the sheet that we designed, where we have images and videos all in the same spreadsheet next to each other, that became problematic when we were trying to schedule our posts, because we didn't want to post an image and a video. And using our previous scenario, that's exactly what that would do. So we had to find a way to filter by what I chose was even and odd days. And this took a while. Took some knocking on ChatGPT's door, not a lot of answers. Now, so you know, within make.com, you can't see, but if I put myself over to the left, there is this AI chat window. I have to admit, I've had sketchy results in the past, but it totally pulled one out for me this time. And it helped me create the right kind of code to put in this filter. So we're still filtering by images if our spreadsheet has an image, but this is the magic code right here. And you have to set it up in this format or it's not going to work. Format date now D mod 2, and then we have numeric operators does not equal 0. So how do you set this up with those icons and things? You want to click add and rule, and you click in this box, come up here to the calendar. This is where you're going to click format date, and then it sets you up with a parentheses, semicolon, and a parentheses. So right after this first parentheses, you're going to click now. Then you're going to add the D after the semicolon. Where the heck do you find mod? Well, mod is over under X1. There's your mod. And you don't need this parenthesis. You blow that out. And this is what it looks like. Then you click this. This needs to be numeric operators not equal to. And for odd days, you want a 0. For even days, you want a 1. Okay? So when we go down to the video path, we're going to set this up with a 1. So it runs on even days. I noticed I screwed that up. The closing parenthesis needs to come after the D. So this is the way it needs to look. Okay, you got all that? Great. So for videos, this is how it will look with the 1. So to give this a test, let's go back to our spreadsheet, and you'll see we're still using Journey Post as an example. Journey Post with the Fleetwood Mac image, but we do have an image and a video on the same row, and there's no upload date. So over in make.com, this knows this is the next suitable post it has to deal with. Okay, gonna hit it, see what happens. It's running, it found the Journey post, and then it respected our filter rule, and it's uploading just the image to Facebook. Then it'll jump over and do the same on Instagram, and it'll even be so kind and update our sheet. Let's see if I'm not full of sheet. Yep, we have our update, and then we go to Facebook, and there we go. Don't Stop Believin' just now was published, and here it is. Popping over to Instagram, and there we go. And using these filters for scheduling, you come down here and you're running the scenario every day at a certain time. And boom, you're good to go. So I hope you dug that. I can't wait to hear what you do with it. Please let me know in the comments if you want to take this in a nutty new direction. We all are learning from each other, and please share any creative lightning bolts that may have hit you along the way. And you know what I'd love for you to hit me with? Oh, you know where I'm going. Please, if you found this at all enlightening, a little like and a big subscribe would go a long way. I greatly appreciate that. And until our next radio rendezvous, I am Jeff, the radio DJ dude, and you, sweet you, keep rocking those mics all over the world.